Hey folks, Terry Lair here from Treetop Woodworking. I just wanted to talk with you just a minute about these videos you'll be seeing me make and the equipment I'm using with it. It is very dangerous. So please don't do as I do, but do as your machines tell you how to run them and operate them in the manuals. Very dangerous. I've had the router eat my finger into this one off completely, and it's just luckily it grew back what was left of it, but had a few nicks in here and there on this equipment. But just be very careful is what I'm saying, and always go by what your manual says, and just don't do as I do. Do as you see fit anyway, is what I'm trying to say. But I just wanted to let you know too that I will be finishing the sled and the CROSSCUT sled and those flutes. And I've finished some flutes earlier, but I'm trying to finish some more flutes. I'm always working on them, and I'm going to be doing some more hammers in the future. And will be sharing the measurements as best as I can. My table saw has a few pieces missing as far as telling how far over I can go. It's kind of hit and miss on there, but I will be sharing as much as I can and the angles and all that. And if you have any questions about anything you ever see me do, just send me a text, message me, and I'll try to answer it the best I can. But I just wanted to share that with you, and I thank you for watching. And just one other thing I wanted to mention, another boy's channel, Bearded Viking, he gave me a shout out, didn't know me from Adam. Man, he's got like thousands, 100,000 subscribers. And he gave me a shout out, give me a mention. Sure, that was very, very awesome, very cool of him to do that. So I'm giving him the same shout out too. That don't mean as much as his shout out though, for sure. But I am very thankful for what he did. But again, I thank you for watching. Hey, welcome to my channel. It's Treetop Woodworking here, and we're going to be doing a few projects. First thing I got to do, get me a sled going. I've got some mallets to make, some more hammers. Thor inspired, I guess you could say. Mallets. Then I got some flutes I got to get done, but I got to get a sled. Hopefully I can get a good sled going first. But I'm going to have to trim me up some pieces for my runners. This might take a minute. Need to cut this little piece here off though. Knock the dirt off the other side. Scrap lumber don't take much for the runners. Get a hammer and knock that off right quick. Again, it all gets sanded off before it's used there. This is only 1/4 inch plywood here. And I've got, for my main table of the sled is a 3/4 inch, I believe. Yeah. Actually, it's probably half inch, but more like a 1/4 inch. Anyway, I got to trim me a piece off for these runners, and that might take me a minute, so I'll go ahead and pause this video right here Well, there's one. It's really good. You want to where it just barely fits in there. And you can always, like I say, sand it down a little bit. And I got some beeswax and natural oil. I got a mixture of I use for a wax for my wood projects, and I use a little bit on the runners too, and it really gets them sliding good if you have any trouble once you get it glued. I need to get me one more going. I'll go ahead and cut it. More than likely, I'll probably have to sand this one down too. Yeah, I'm going to have to sand this one down too. Yeah, you want them just a little big, so you can always sand them down some and get them just the way you want them. But let me go do some sanding. I'll be back. Well, I got both of these. Well, that's the way I want them. What I'm going to do, blade all the way down. This is slower than sanding. Fix me a handle on this thing sometime. Okay. Before we go any further, we want to unplug it. Now, sit down, check these out. Now mine, a lot of times these runners are deeper than mine. Mine's not very deep. A lot of times you might have to put a couple washers or something down in here to lift these up. That way when you lay your tabletop on it, it's going to be the top of your sled on it, you can be able to glue to it. If not, these will be sitting all the way down in there, and this won't even, the tabletop won't even touch. But mine is tall enough that they will. Mine's about 1/8 of an inch, maybe a hair more than 1/8 of an inch. And probably better the closer you get it to the table. But like I said, if yours is deep, you can put some washers underneath it, get it up. That way when you put it on it, your sled table will be on the saw table all the way down. But I think 1/8 of an inch would be good enough for what I want. But I'm going to have to sand a little bit more on this one because just a hair thicker than the other one. Sand a little bit on top, a little bit on bottom, that'll be done. But I won't put you through that misery. I'll be back in a minute. Well, we moved her on over to the picnic table. What I'm doing, just going to split the difference. You can always lay down another thing on the bottom if you need a longer piece. You can add on really easy. You really don't need a great big humongous sled. I did make it longer that way this time because I found that there's some angles I'm going to be wanting to cut in the future, and I'm going to need that little bit of length that way. But, and it can be done other ways on miter saw. I'm just splitting the difference. I'm going to put the wood glue on her and get her glued down, and probably put a couple blocks on it.
But I can pretty well get it straight by this part. Now my back board that's going to be this way, that's the one I really have to worry about. The one I'm going to put on this side, really don't have to worry about. Just get it straight, just eye it up. This in here, you need to get right, line it with your saw blade, right? So we'll deal with that when that time comes. Get some wood glue on this.
And truth is, I'll probably make a couple more sleds because I'll need one kind of that I can junk up a little bit that I use to make those mallets with. Because I like using it for doing some angles on it. But yeah.
Try to get it as thin as you can, where you don't get too much on your table saw. But you can always go back later and clean it off. Like mine, I say, you got that wax on there, and it won't stick too much as long as you clean it off pretty fast when the time comes. Let's see, get a little glue on this other one. My bottle's about daubed up. Up in here. This will be plenty though, really. A little goes a long way. Of course, you can use whatever kind you want. I'm using Gorilla here. Used to get Elmer's wood glue. They kind of quit selling it at the Wally World. I think Type Bond's probably, Type Bond 3, probably one of the best because it can endure heat a little more and water. But I use this on my Native American flutes and I've not had none fail yet. It does real good. that set just a minute. I really want to pull that back a little bit too. That way I can clamp this in too if I want. I probably will. Just to be on the safe side. Like I said, just going to center this up. Don't gotta be perfect, just getting it close. Pretty close. Couple on the other side. Of course, them don't gotta be super tight, just a little bit of pressure. Just enough to where it touches. I think this is going to do good. Give me a good seal. That ought to do it for sure. Well, we'll leave that alone. Now we can get started on the routing and the flutes. Easy to do. Let this set a couple hours and we'll mess with it again. I know I'm jumping around a little bit. Probably finish that table saw sled in another video maybe. I really want to get started on these Native American flutes, but I will finish that other one in another video. What I've got here, I'm working on D's, and for D's, from the sound hole to the end, it takes 19 inches about it. You want to give yourself an inch or so of playroom. So I'm only going 3 inches on these, which will make it a little bit shorter, but that's good because these are 2 foot long anyway. Time to end up with 3 or 4 inches here before you get to your sound hole, and then 19 inches up through there, you got 2 foot. I think this is the shortest one I got, and it's like 27 or 28. So I got plenty to play with here. But like I say, and another reason, trying to keep them under 2 foot. Get out there. Oh. Crazy roosters is for mailing purposes, shipping. The boxes we have here at the post office are just 24 inches. I can have it just a little bit longer and take the ends up, but don't want them too much longer. So I'm trying to keep them at 2 foot. That's plenty long enough. I gotta keep my shipping costs down too. But, what I'm gonna do is mark these. Got my marker. Let's see. And this so happens, now usually, like I have a one here with a line under it. I mean, this is going to be the top one. I try to pick the prettiest one, which one I think is going to be pretty. And this is going to have like a knot right in the middle of it. Hopefully it's not right on the hose, but if it's close, that's all right. It still works sometimes. As long as it don't chip off or nothing, I'm hoping. But it really is going to look good. I try to pick the best looking one for that. So I just draw a line that lets me know that's going to be the top of the flute. That's going to be the bottom. But, mark them just the same, just in case one of them messes up. And just so happens this table, really I needed to trim these edges off first of all of them. I don't think I've ever done that yet. Let me go do that. I'll be back. I'm going to square these ends off at least. We got these pretty well squared off. And like I said, this will be the hardest one because not only is it old, but it's also twisted. And that's going to be a little rough, but I can put clamps on the side of it to bring it all together at the end. Just going to have to play with it a little bit. Make it a little harder routing too. Have to watch that when I go to route it out. Let me mark these. Like I said, I've done got measurements on it, which is good. And like I say, I'm going to go 3 inches. Be about right in there. And we'll go another inch. All these is for just there'll be a hole here and a hole here. And when I go to route it, I'll know to route up to here and stop. Route up to here and stop. This to be my block. Yeah, this part here will be sealed together. No air will go through there except for the track I'll cut in it when I get done in the very top of it. Of course, like I say, we'll do both sides. Really only have to do that side. Yeah, what I was thinking. The other side gets routed, but these are your guides you go by on the middle of your router here. Slide it up to there, and you'll get used to how far your router goes in. You gotta be careful because you want to get so close, your router bit be in here. And time if you ain't watching, you won't have nothing done left in here. But this, I'll get the rest of these marked. And we'll get the router set up here in a bit. We'll make some noise then. Well, on the last one here, marked again, and again you see these lines here. Just run my router up, if it's close in there, and I can look on the other side, do a little more, not as much if needed. Go by the middle of this thing here in the router. But I'm gonna have to get everything tightened down, setting up, and I'll get back with you here in a minute. This first pass I'm going to make is going to be a 1/4 inch away from the fence here, and millimeters is going to be anywhere between 10.85 and 10.95, somewhere in between there for the first pass. I think I got mine 10.87. This just be the first pass. There'll be 4 different passes, different heights you'll have to adjust it to get the D. Anyway, we want to make a circle. We're only using a 3/4 bit. Those inch bits are just too much wear and tear on your router, too dangerous and too expensive. Hard to find. The 3/4 inch, you can find it Potter's Ace Hardware anywhere, you know. But anyway, the first one's going to be at 1087 is where I got mine, but anywhere between 1085 and 1090, 1095, somewhere in there close for the first pass. Yeah, let me get my, well, let me get my fence set right now, and I'll get back with you here in just a minute. I'm going to get busy, make some noise. That wind is going to blow us away today. What I'm trying to get is an inch. Started out here. Routed out. I'm not worried about the depth here in a bit, but always cut a few extra pieces, that way I could see if I got it right before I do the actual pieces I'm going to use. And a lot of this depends on how wide the wood is you're using. I think mine was just a hair over 1.5 inches, so you got to put that into your figuring too when you're trying to get it 1 inch wide. And of course your depth you deal with a little bit at a time. That's where the 10.85 10.87 comes in. And another thing too is that these routers, you got to be really careful because it can jerk it out of your hand. It can jerk your hand into the router. It hits a knot or anything like that.
His booger is really boogering, I tell you. Just be careful with this thing. That's all I can say. Another thing is I could see in the future too, where a man could afford a CNC router. That would take all the finger biting out of this. It would really be a game changer for sure.
I'm gonna have to move with it. Look at it. An eighth of an inch. Let me adjust her a little more. Well, try it again. Again, I got to be careful here, because I don't want to take too much off either, and I need as close to an inch as I can get out of it. I really needed a wider piece of board, is what I needed, but to save on my cedar, I just got trying to economize on it, do the best I can here. And for whatever reason, my router's about wore out. Even when I got set just as I wanted the right depth, about every other one I had to go back and check the depth and reset it again because it was